Today I'm going to help you select your family tent. When you first start looking for a tent, you'll probably find there's huge varying degrees of tents on the market of different scales and different sizes. So it can be quite difficult to select the tent that you're looking for. It also depends on your family size, whether you've got pets, and where you're going to be going camping. Is it going to be in the south of France? Is it going to be in the west coast of Wales? Either way, you want to consider three main aspects. The first thing to consider is the berth or the size of your tent. It's said that the berth is actually the most important part of your tent that you want to consider. Here we range from 4-man tents all the way up to 8-man tents. But on the market you can even find 12-man family tents as well. If you're going away for a short stay, for a weekend or for Easter, or with 1 or 2 kids, then maybe a 4-man tent for 4 people, 2 adults and 2 kids may be ideal. If you're looking to go away for longer, maybe for a week or 2 down in Cornwall, you may be taking a dog along with you as well, then you may want to go for a slightly larger tent to accommodate everyone. When you think of berth and size, it's more than the amount of people that are going to be staying in the tent. Think of where you're going to be cooking or where you may be chilling out when you've been for a walk and you're coming back. A tent is more about space and a home from home, as well as it being a place to sleep. After you've considered the berth of your tent, you then want to consider the style of the assembly. And here we have 2 main styles, the first being tunnel and the second being dome. You'll find that with a tunnel tent, all the bedroom compartments are at the back of the tent. This means that there's one large living compartment with a separator, but it does give you a much larger living space. As well as a larger living space, you'll have a large front opening porch and door, which gives you more air and more light, but also is more of a square-shaped construction, so you have a much larger standing height. The second assembly type to consider is a dome tent. With this style of tent, you'll have the bedrooms at either end of the tent. So if you've got someone who's a snorer or you've got noisy kids, then this is always a good idea. The other main difference with a dome tent is the living quarters. With this style of tent, because you have the bedrooms at either end, you mean you have a living quarter in the centre. This is great for accessibility with the 2 bedrooms, but you tend to find it's slightly smaller and also slightly shorter in height. So if you're going for a long weekend or a week away, this is ideal. But any longer than that, you may want slightly larger living space. For family tents, you'll find there's 2 main construction methods, your traditional pole or the inflatable technology. Whilst taking longer to set up, poled is generally the more affordable option. Alternatively, you can go for an inflatable tent. These styles of tent are far more convenient and a lot easier to put up. Just don't forget to buy a pump if you're going to take one. The other advantage of an inflatable tent is that with our tents, it's an all-in-one construction. This means that you simply have to roll out the tent, peg the corners and pump away, and your tent will be up in seconds. With a pole tent, however, you have to pitch the outer tent first and then peg the inner tent inside. So this can take a little bit longer, and if it's in bad weather, it's generally more of a hassle. An inflatable tent can be erected with less people and tends to take between 5 and 10 minutes to put up. On the other hand, poled tents require more people to put up and take between 15 and 20 minutes to put up. So if time is on your side, or if you've got a couple of kids with you, definitely go with the inflatable option. The final thing to consider when selecting your family tent is the additional features that tent may have. So think waterproofing and windproofing, how ventilated that tent may be and how condensation proof it may be, and features such as blackout bedrooms and stash pockets for your gear. All of our tents come with 2000 mil waterproofing and bucket ground sheets, keeping your tent nice and waterproof. And it also is resistant to up to 50 km/h winds. So if you're going to be in a storm or you're going to be hit with the worst of the British weather, you can be rest assured that you'll be safe in your tent. To ensure all of our family tents are well ventilated and reduce condensation, you'll find dual fly skins on every one, and also ventilation hatches and bucket ground sheets to aid airflow. You'll tend to find that if you're family camping with a couple of kids, they'll wake up quite early because of the amount of light that comes through your tent. So one of the features to look for on our tents is our Fresh and Black blackout technology. This means that with blackout technology, you can reduce sunlight up to about 99%, even in broad daylight. This means your kids will be no longer waking up at 4 and 5 AM, but you can have a lie-in and sleep for a little bit longer. The other half of our Fresh and Black technology is the heat-reducing fresh fabric. This fabric contains titanium ion coatings. This means it's better at resisting the sun's UV rays, and it reduces the heat in your tent up to 17 degrees in summer. So just to recap what we've looked at today, firstly, think of berth of the tent that you want. Secondly, think of the assembly type and the construction of your tent. And thirdly and finally, think of the amount of additional features that tent may have.